Hey, this is Dave Negri, Contractor Secret Weapon, and today Pete and I have a special something for you. Last week we talked about
You
what
almost
Pete
made
was
me
going to
spit
share
out
with
my
you, and
drink
we
with that.
decided to call it
It's
Pete's.
it's a special. It's just a special.
It's a special. Yes, it is a special. We're going to call it Pete's Secret Sauce for Faster Profits.
Man, I kind of like that better than my title. I got to write that one down.
Oh,
Pete's
what was your
Secret
title?
Sauce. Uh, I'm not saying it now. Not after that. That was so much better.
Well, that needs to go in. That needs to go in the the headline of the whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So last week you talked about there's basically four things you tell your clients that they was it four or five
Well, there's five groups
or
that
the
we
pecking
target,
order of
but
getting
there's
business.
yeah, there's four steps to the title you just came up with, the faster profit system. What did you say now? I got to write this one down.
Pete's the secret sauce to faster profits.
And
We're
really,
gonna trademark that.
who doesn't want faster profits? So, you know. So here's the
Well,
here's
everybody
the
wants more profits. If we can get it faster, I'll take it.
exactly, no reason to wait around for the profits. All right, so essentially, there's four main steps to what I tell my clients to do. Is almost like the first step. You know, here's the thing, Dave, that I know you completely agree with, because you've talked about this on the podcast, and that is the money is in the list. And so if you've been in business for any length of time and you've got a database, you're sitting on a gold mine. And there's basically four things that we need to do to start tapping into those databases, or into that database. And you don't have to do all four. It kind of depends on their individual situation. So I'll explain to you what I mean here. So the very first thing that I do with people is I send out what I call a pink elephant letter. So here's the pink elephant letter. I would go to my clients and I go, hey, look, here's the sequence that I want you to do to reach out to your database so we can generate some business right now today. And a lot of times they go, well, you know, I feel kind of awkward because I've never reached out to my database, or, you know, last time I reached out to them was 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden I'm going to start marketing to them, and I just don't feel comfortable with that. So we put together what I call the pink elephant letter. And I call it the pink elephant letter because it's as if there's this big pink elephant in the middle of the room, and we're trying to talk around it, right? Dave, you're on the other side, and I'm like trying to avoid the pink elephant. And it's obvious. There's a big elephant in the middle of the room, and in fact, it's pink. We have to address the pink elephant in the room. So the pink elephant in the room with our contractors is going to be if they haven't been communicating with their database. So they just need to address that. So I'm going to read you a letter here that we'll mail out to people. And this is one that I do in real estate. So you would just literally switch this up to, your contracting business, whether it's plumbing, painting, roofing, whatever it might be. So it says this: just the other day, my staff and I took some time to review our business, and we've come to the conclusion that the most important assets we have in this business are the relationships we've developed in our personal and professional lives. And I also have to confess that we, or rather that I, have not been as proactive in my personal communications as I would have liked. It's to that point that I want you to know I've taken appropriate steps to start communicating with you more frequently, be it a newsletter, a personal call, a follow-up card, a telephone call from the office, a text message. Please consider it tangible evidence that I'm putting my relationship with you back where it needs to be, that is first in my business. In the near future, you'll begin to receive my newsletter via the mail. Meanwhile, if you have any questions or if we can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to call. Sincerely, Pete Mitchell, Pete's Contracting. By the way, if you're thinking about having your home clean or your roof cleaned, I've put together a great resource called 5 Things You Need to Know Before You Hire a Roof Cleaner. I'll be happy to drop it in the mail to you. Call me at this number or visit this website to get it now. So simply what we're doing is we're addressing the fact that we haven't been communicating with them, and we're telling them we're going to fix that. So Dave, do you think if someone hasn't been communicating with their database and they send that letter out to their database, do you think that database is going to have any problem when they start marketing to them after that?
Heck no. They're going to expect something now. You just told them that they expect something.
Exactly.
I'm sending you this, and I want to do more of it.
And, by the way, I'm doing this because you're important to me. Yeah. Like, who's going to have a problem with that?
No, and that's one of the main reasons customers leave.
Yes.
It's because they don't feel important.
Yep. They feel neglected. They feel ignored. All that. And then, of course, because I'm a marketing guy, that's why I still have that PS on there. And, you know, you just put together whatever your consumer guide is, 3 things you need to know about having your home painted professionally, or, the biggest mistakes people make when hiring a roofer and how to avoid them. Like, you can come up with your own consumer guide. And I just want to turn every communication I make into a possible lead generation. And that's why, that's why I have a little PS on there. And it's going back to education-based marketing. So I'm not offering them, a $50 gift certificate or 10% off or something like that. I'm offering them education. I'm offering them something that is going to hopefully resonate with the right person. And then if they raise their hand and they say, yeah, you know what, I really need to know what are the biggest mistakes that people make when hiring a painter and how to avoid them. What do I know about that person? I know that person in my database is thinking about having something painted.
Yeah, and in the next 18 months.
Exactly. I should probably follow up with them.
Yeah, or sooner.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we do, and I do that the first week. Then in the second week, and this is where it's really important that you've put together your database and you've started to segment your list. And so what I like to point out to people is they have an actual gold mine in their database. And most of the time, they just don't know to reach out to this database. So we want to send them an email. And you've probably shared with them this email before. It's sometimes been referred to as the 9-word email. Have you shared that before, Dave?
I think I have, way back when. And
way back when,
the results are phenomenal.
Yeah, so here's what you want to do for this. Let's say you got a list, and these are people who've reached out to you about your service. I'm just going to say it's a roofing. You're a roofing company. I'm going to use that as my example. You want to send an email out to your list, and what you're going to say in the subject is their name. So Dave Negri. Then for the body of the email, we just want to put a simple message. Are you still interested in having a new roof installed? And it's called the 9-word email because the guy who originally wrote it, it was originally 9 words. But the number of words doesn't matter. It was just a cool little marketing ploy.
As long as it's not a paragraph. It really needs to be short and precise.
Exactly. All we're doing is
we're... It's not a sales letter.
Right. We're asking a question that demands a response. I mean, that's essentially what we're trying to do here. And so by saying, are you...
still interested in getting your roof done or replaced?
Sorry, hold on a second, man. I'll be right back. Apparently my neighbor's house is on fire, so just hold on a second. Sorry about that, Dave.
Yeah. No, was there a fire?
Yeah, so my neighbor across the street has a special needs kid. He's autistic. And so she was Facebooking me, hey, is there a fire down the street? And I'm like, well, I smelled something. I thought it smelled great. I was like, is somebody barbecuing? I didn't realize it was their house on fire.
Oh, gee.
So they're doing all kinds of work on the roads and stuff, and I guess one of the trucks backed into a power line, broke the pole. The pole, had the power lines on it, and it hit the roof of the house and caught that house on fire.
Nice. So,
yeah. So that's the fun in my neighborhood. That's the excitement going on. So anyway, back to the topic. So yeah, I mean, once you've basically put that email out there and made it about your business, basically inquiring, are you still interested in having your interior repainted, your exterior painted, your
now how long after do you, I mean, after you
1 week.
So you're doing 7 days. Now,
Yeah.
I remember reading the results from who we're talking about. He had a plumber, well, that's actually in England, who in I guess the fall they clean the furnaces because they're boilers too.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what he did was he emailed all of his customers. Have you scheduled your fall cleaning of your boiler yet? That's all he put on his email, and he got booked for 2 months.
Yep, that's it right there. And here's where people will make the mistake. They will send out that email with more information than just asking the question. It'll be like, hey, are you still interested in having your house repainted? The reason why I'm asking is because blah, 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 blah. And now it's like you've gone from asking a question to basically vomiting on people your services. And what we want to do is we want to wait for them to reply. So we actually have this built into several of our sequences where at a certain point, we automatically send them an email. Are you still interested in growing your business? Are you still interested in getting some help with your marketing? Stuff like that. And we get our average, and your average is going to be different. Everyone's average is going to be different. But our average is we get between 55 and 60% to respond, which is incredible, right? There's nothing that I know of that is anywhere even close to that. And so that's what you want to do as the first
and these are customers who have bought from you before.
Well, we will change the message up because, again, if you remember last week, we talked about the 3 main groups: current clients, past clients, and prospects. And so I might change those messages up depending on the group.
Who you're doing it to the group.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got to think it through, right? I like to say marketing is the thinking man's game. You just think through, okay, how would this person, or what would get this person to respond? Someone who I did business with, let's say in the last couple of months. If you painted someone's home in the last couple of months, unless they have another structure to paint, or they did the interior but not the exterior, they did the exterior not the interior, you're probably not going to be painting again for them. So in that case, I'm going to go for the referral. And I'm going to say something along the lines of, basically I do statement question. Thanks for letting me work on your home. I really enjoyed working with you. I've got a couple of spots open. Do you know anyone else who's thinking about having their home painted? And so, if it's something like that where it's not going to be conducive to more business, I'm going to go for the referral. If it's a past client, then yeah, I love doing the yet or again. Is it time to have your roof cleaned again? Because I know you guys out in Florida, you got to clean those things every few years. So I mean, that's a perfect segue for that. And then if it's a prospect, you could just do the regular just yet. Are you still interested in having your home painted? Or I'm sorry, it's not the yet, it's the are you still?
Right.
And
still,
and doing that. So then what we do is we're going to weed out of that list the people who responded. So we're not going to get 100% of them to respond. It's just not going to work that way. But let's say, 50% of them responded. I still have half the list. So what I'm going to do is the following week after that, I'm now going to send them what I call a gapped message. GAP stands for Group Automated Personalized Text. We're basically going to be sending them a text message. By the way, I've got my own system here. It's called SMS Conversations. As my own shameless plug, you can find out about it at smsconversations.com. But it's a group automated personalized texting and sly voicemailing platform. And so what you're going to do is you're going to send a text out to everyone who didn't respond to your email, and you're basically going to make the thing do a mail merge. So just like on the email where you put their name in the subject line, I'm going to send a text message that's going to say, hi Bob, hi Mary, hi Susan, whatever their name is. Our system does the mail merge as long as you've got that in your database. So hi Dave, following up from last week's email, are you still interested in having your home painted? Are you still interested in getting a new roof? Are you still interested in having your roof cleaned? And then I'm going to sign my name to it, Pete Mitchell. So there's 4 really important pieces to this text message. And by the way, you have to be really careful when you start texting people, because nothing is more direct and more personal to people than getting messages on their phone. So you're going to cut through all of the clutter, and you're going to totally get right in front of people. So you want to do this very specifically. The first thing is you want to make sure you personalize it. You don't want it to look like spam. So that's why you want to use their name. Hi Bob, hi Mary, hi Susan. It needs to be done that way. So you're going to want to use a system like ours, SMS Conversations, or find someone else who will do a mail merge feature just like a Word doc does, right? Where it can automatically put in someone's name for you. So that's step number 1, is personalize it. Step number 2 is you're going to have what I call the bridge statement. In this case, it's following up from last week's email. So that bridge, I'm bridging between, I've been communicating with you, and then I've got a question for you, but I've been communicating with you. So following up from last week's email, following up from that chamber meeting I saw you at, following up from seeing you at the Safeway, whatever it might be, we're going to use a bridge statement. So that way when people see this come in on their text, they're like, oh, okay, well, I need to read this because I know this person. They've got my name here, and they said they're following up from an email or from a chamber meeting or, a BNI or whatever it is. So then the third step is our question. That's where we're going right back to that email question. Are you still interested in fill in the blank? Roofing, having your roof cleaned, painting the house, whatever it might be. And then last step, sign your name to it. People will not recognize your phone number. Don't assume that they know who that message is coming from. Yeah, right. Sign your name to it.
Especially if you're using your system, your SMS system, because you're going to have a dedicated.
Right, it's going to be a completely different phone number. Yeah. Completely different, right? Yeah. Then the 4th step, or the 4th week, so what's going to happen, by the way, is at this point, you might have so much business that's like, okay, I can't even do the next step, because that happens all the time. Like, you might have gotten so many responses after the email, you can't do the text message the next week. You need to wait maybe 3 weeks to a month, because you got to handle all the business from the people who responded to the email. Then you do the text message. So then your message would change to following up from last month's email, or I've been trying to reach you and haven't been able to get a hold of you, right? A bridge question or a bridge statement like that. And then again, you get a bunch of people who respond to the text. Now, what usually happens, Dave, is people start to cry when they start getting these, oh, no, I had Joe Blow over here do it for me. And they're like, I'm losing business. Like, they didn't realize how much business they lost to their competitors because they never followed up. They never stayed in touch.
And here's the funny thing, and I've talked to a lot of contractors locally when I'm out and about, and I'll ask them, well, do you ever send a thank you card or just a survey? How do we do? Could we be better? Go, oh, no. And what do you mean, oh, no? I don't want to know whether I did a good job or not. I said, what?
That's
I said, you just want to take the money and run. So you never really want, the mindset is, I'm going to take the money and run, and I'm never going to do business with them again. Or if I do business with them, they're gonna contact me if they don't forget me.
Yeah.
So
that's not
by
good.
doing this 4-step program or this multi-step program, it's like putting money in the bank.
Yeah.
And take like with your real estate people, and I don't know what the average, like you said, the response rate is going to be different for every industry and every person, depending on the relationship and how the people remember you will depend on, what your response rate is. But let's just say yours, you said you're getting about 55%.
Yeah.
And so you got 200 let's say you got 200 real estate agents, so you're getting 100 to 110 people that are responding at a 1% response rate on a EDDM postcard. You're looking at 10,000 postcards,
Yeah.
and they don't know you.
Right. Yep. Now, just because they respond doesn't mean they're all responding positively, right? They could be saying, "Oh no, thanks, I don't need that," whatever.
Right.
Which is fine, because I think a lot of people too, they live in this world of make believe of, if I don't contact my database, then I have all this money sitting there. And the reality is you don't have anything sitting there. You don't know if that
the
person
holes aren't being plugged up.
Yeah, so we need to know yes or no. I would much rather have a no over a maybe or a, well, it's just hanging out there. I mean, I need to know, because, by the way, if they say no, that just means, okay, great, I got a starting ground. I can work them up
today.
from there. Yeah, they're not ready today.
Put them on the list for another 2 months.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So then after we do the text message, the following week after that, that's when we send them a sly voicemail. And by the way, if you really want to bump up your text message results, we send them with selfies. So you could actually be in your attire, maybe on a roof if you're doing roof cleaning, take a selfie on your phone, and at least with SMS Conversations, our system, you can send that message with a selfie, and that really gets people to respond. But anyway, let's say, another probably 20 to 30% of people responded to that. We still have some people who still haven't responded to our messaging. So then the last week, what we do is we send them what's called a sly voicemail, or a ringless voicemail. This is where we're going to call them and leave a message directly on their cell phone without their phone actually ringing. And essentially, we're going to be saying the exact same thing, or sometimes we go for a higher value offer. So basically, the message might be, yes, hello, Pete Mitchell here. I've been trying to reach you the last couple of weeks. I've been reaching out to you to see if you're ready to have your roof cleaned again. By the way, I've got a special right now where if you have your roof cleaned and your walkway cleaned at the same time, it's $100 off or whatever, right? So what I usually do is we increased the offer. So I don't want to give them a bigger discount on doing the job, right? Because that's just money out of my pocket. But I'll give them a discount if it's now a bigger job, right? So now it's the roof and the sidewalk. Or, they wanted one room painted and I'm offering a deal on 3 rooms. Or, so I'm trying to increase the size of the sale and then give them a discount off of that. And then, of course, I'll just let them know, by the way, this is good for anyone who books by Friday and takes advantage of this by the end of the summer, or whatever. Give them a deadline, because people need to have a deadline to take action. But that little simple 4-step process has generated more business than almost anything else I've ever done with anybody and any of my clients, because it's like the easiest way to reach out to people, sort and sift and find out who's ready, who wants something, and get more business.
And it's a great. I mean, as you were talking, I was thinking about for anybody who wants to introduce a new service or a new product. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Or you're thinking about adding a new product or a new service. This is a great platform, to try to see if your customers are looking for that type of product or that type of service. Yeah,
in fact, if you were doing that, I mean, let's kind of think that through. So your emails, your text, your sly voicemails, you would just want to use that as part of the bridge, right? So we still want to keep everything just as short as possible. Hi, Dave. Pete Mitchell here from Pete Mitchell Contracting, or whatever the name of my company is. Reaching out to you because I wanted to let you know that we've just added blank service to what we do. And then you could go right. I mean, the soft close on that is, hey, would you or anyone you know be interested in this? So then it's not just saying, hey, would you want it? It's would you or anyone you know. That's kind of the soft way. You can do it a little bit harder. It is the yes or no. Hey, is this something that would interest you? Would you like more information on it? So I'm not going to try and give them all the details on my new product or service right then. It's just, I've kind of got this new thing. Would you be interested in this?
Right.
I can give you more information.
Right. You still want them to raise their hand.
I'm still trying to get them to raise their hand.
Yeah, and it's. I think most people they spill their guts, hoping to do the sale, and it's not. You have to entice them in, and they're going to buy ultimately when they're ready. But if you're spilling your guts, you're going to push them away from ultimately buying, and you're trying to draw them into buying.
Right. Exactly. So that's what Dave calls the faster profit system.
Pete's secret sauce to faster profits. I wrote it down.
I like that. I like that a lot, man. I always called it the instant client gold mine strategy, but I like yours better. It makes it sound so much more, I don't know, special.
It is special sauce.
It is. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with him on this call.
Cool. That's awesome. So we'll surprise you next week.
and likely ourselves at the same time.
I was going to say that.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. See you later.